Okay, so we are talking about Chanakya Niti and how we are supposed to relate it to modern management or to the corporate management, as we say it. Now, this topic is very much relevant when I discuss, especially with my students who are coming from, the background of maybe finance sector. Maybe they may be having someone in their family, they are already into family business, or they may be looking at the opportunities for entrepreneurship. So this topic is going to look at all the spheres. Okay, we are not going to look at the personal agenda in today's session. We are going to look at the professional scenario wherein you are looking at the corporate management and things like that. And how is it relevant when you're talking about the time when Chanakya had strategized for the king to work on? So when you're talking about Chanakya Niti and how is it related to modern management, you'll find a huge number of examples, wherein it is actually relevant in today's times and especially in corporate times and organization. So we'll look at those during our discussions. For today's discussion, my point is how is it relevant when you're talking about Chanakya Niti and Chanakya, or rather, how are we looking at a corporate Chanakya? Okay, so to begin with, a short quiz is to be followed based on whatever our discussion will be uh, pertaining to it, and also beyond what you may be having in mind when I'll be talking about this topic in general. Okay, so you'll be having questions based on that, and the quiz, the weightage of the quiz is for 10 marks. Okay, so we already know when you talk about Chanakya, and the very first thing that comes in our mind when you talk about corporate organization or a corporate management, just think of it as a chess. Okay, so what Chanakya was actually looking at was basically how we play the game of chess. So he was a very astute, a very strategic, a very great thinker and a politician back then. Chanakya was a leader par excellence. We are yet to find any such leader in today's times who can match up to the mindset that he had during his time. So I would put it this way, according to me, he was the one who was way ahead of times. In fact, the thinking models that we see and we teach in organizational behavior, most of the management schools teach organizational behavior, do take do draw a lot of conclusions from Chanakya Niti. Okay, so the thinking model is somewhere devised using these concepts that Chanakya had actually made a treatise of it, and that was known as Arthashastra. Arthashastra, which in today's time we talk about as economics and things like that, but Arthashastra was not the term that many people feel that Chanakya had coined. Chanakya was not the one who coined this term, Arthashastra. It was already there, having a reference in the Rig Veda. But Chanakya was the one who came up with the concept and the treatise of Arthashastra. Okay, so he was the one, he had ideas and thinking models to identify leaders, grooming them to govern a country or a kingdom, and it is well documented. The other name for Chanakya was Kautilya, and Kautilya was the one who was looking at Arthashastra and Chanakya Niti, as well as many people do assume Chanakya Niti as Kutniti, but that's not the case. Okay, it is very much relevant in today's time when you talk about Chanakya Niti and how you're supposed to have devising a thinking set. Okay, you may have different types of thinking models which you may not be aware of. Okay, so as a management student, as maybe in the second year or in the third year, you may not be aware of the thinking model. So how do I know? So ma'am, you're talking about something what Chanakya did. So how do I know what is my present thinking model, and how do I strategize so that I am good at my position whenever I complete my formal education and when I come out, when I take hold of family business, or maybe I take hold of a corporate organization? How do I do that? Maybe I will start up as an employee. Okay, I'm also looking at that. So students, in this topic wherein we talk about Arthashastra, he has given information and detailed account for all the strata. of an organization, which at that point of time, if you're talking about organization, what he has used the phrase is always a more of a masculine term. Okay, now when you're talking about in today's times, we have leaders of uh, any gender. We cannot say that we are going to only have leaders of a particular gender. So it has to be, my discussion will be more gender neutral in terms of bringing into concepts of what Chanakya was saying. Okay, and looking at how we are having our today's organization. That's a very relevant topic as far as management is concerned. We already know he was the kingmaker, and there are many such ideas that we see in today's political world, also in the political scenario also. I'll not go into the details and the nitty gritty of the political world, but definitely I'm going to talk about in the organizational sense and the corporate behavior, where we find mentors and allies who create great leaders. Okay, we find more such relevance in family business, whether you talk about Reliance or whether you're talking about Infosys. We find allies making great leaders and things like that. So we are going to talk about that in detail. So how is it relevant? Now this question is very much concerning all of us. Now you must be wondering, why do I need to know about Chanakya Niti when you're talking about modern management? Okay, so it's a theoretical thing, huh, students. One thing we have to be very clear, that it is a very theoretical thing to talk about the Chanakya Artha Shastra, but it has automatically translated into many practical applications in the daily business life. Okay, whether you're talking about finance, marketing, or any other sector that you're talking about, especially when we talk about finance, it has a great application practically. The best way is to gain wisdom. So the very thing is, you can read this, you can understand Chanakya Niti, but you're going to apply it logically. Okay, it is not that we have to just do a copy paste of what Chanakya said, do it and say that yes, I am the Chanakya of my organization. That's very foolish of you to think of. So we are looking at the Chanakya Niti and try to look at our organization where we are presently working, and then we can say, okay, this is how I'm going to look at. So students, what I'm going to look at is all the seven pillars of business. When you talk about the business strategy or business plan, we have seven pillars for that. So we are going to look at what are the seven pillars and how does business work, and at the same time, what acumen and what strategy of thinking should a person have. What makes him a good leader? Maybe he may be a good manager or a middle management. There may be some people who do not have very developed thinking style. They may take up supervisory roles. And there is the one that is at the bottom, where we talk about the employees and the sub staff. So we're going to talk about all these features. Okay, so Arthashastra has a reference in the Rig Veda. Okay, as I told you, he is not the one, Chanakya is not the one who gave this phrase of Arthashastra. Arthashastra has reference in the Rig Veda. Okay, it contains a wealth of wisdom on leadership, its development and applications. Okay. We are going to now today only talk about leadership and the middle management. Okay, because today what we are seeing in the corporate sector is there is a difficulty in getting leaders, okay, and there is a huge problem of middle management in the corporate sector, especially when you're talking about India. Okay, so we have done a lot of case studies pertaining to the leadership roles that is happening and the middle management, and what are the various issues that arise when you talk about the corporate sector. Chanakya is not, he did not only say that what the leader should do. In fact, he gave more reference to what leaders should not do. Correct. So that is what we see in the Chanakya Niti and in the Arthashastra, which he has an entire compendium which we see. Today it is translated by Radhakrishnan Pillai, who has written a lot of books about inside Chanakya's mind. Anvikshiki is the another book that he has written, which is giving a very wise ideas about how Chanakya Niti has gone about. Now, if I'm talking about in my discussion, I'll be talking about the Arthashastra that I have read from the Chanakya's texts and the literature that I have found for the Arthashastra, very rarely you'll find this. There are very few libraries which have retained them. But I was fortunate because when we were learning this subject and we were undergoing this training, we were shared the material, which is very rare to be found, especially when you're talking about Arthashastra. Let's look at one thing. When you're talking about, I'll start with the leader today because he or she is the one who's going to drive the organization or propel the organization ahead. The one with who is looked upon, the leader, okay, who is looked upon, who is going to have a great power. So when, as they say, and there is a phrase when you see a Superman movie, so when we talk about power, with great power comes great responsibility. What we find today is with great power comes great corruption. That should not be the case. So when you're talking about great power, the leaders are the ones who are going to have the maximum focus and locus of power. But with that power comes greater responsibilities. Okay, that responsibility we cannot understand until and unless we are sitting on that chair. Intellectual power, you'll have all types of power. Okay, you'll have an intellectual power because you have gained to reach that position. Either you have done a lot of hardship to reach that position, or maybe that you have a family business and you have reached that position. So intellectual power is something that is going to decide and determine whether the leader is going to be using the power in the good way or in the bad way. It can be either way. There cannot be, nothing cannot be taken in between. Manpower, because your organization could be a small management, a small sector, it could be a middle sector, or it could be a world-class corporate sector. Financial power, you'll have power of enthusiasm and morale. So these are all the powers that you'll be having. Apart from that, there is another power that you'll be having, the political power. So you'll be having allies, you may be having contacts, collaborations with the political leaders who are in power. So you are at a very powerful position. For the king, there is a danger of revolt always. That is what Chanakya always says. So for the leader, there is always a danger of revolt in the interior, that is inside the kingdom, and also the outside of the region. So if I consider the synonymous situation in today's corporate world, the leader is always under threat. Okay, internal, especially middle management, who will always try to compete and outfocus the leader, or there may be some who may be really trying to harm you in some way or the other. King was always under a threat and a danger. In fact, you will find a lot of parallels, especially in the Mughal Empire when this thing happened, and people used to poison the king. So there used to be a lot of supervision in the cooking style. Same thing Chanakya had done in the Chandragupta dynasty, that the cooks have to be really checked, should be supervised, that they should not poison the king. Okay, they are not the ones who there may be one disloyal, one person who has compromised his loyalty will definitely cause the doom for the king. And once if the king is not there, there is a doom for the kingdom, at least for a brief period of time until some strategist comes into place. Control over his senses. This is a very important thing for a leader. Control over his senses. That's a very important. This is internal. Okay, that's what he was talking about. Interior, that is, internal enemies have to be kept under tremendous control. Control over the senses, it is done by training. This is not something that one can learn, or is not the one that is being born with. You have to learn this. This is trained. There is a lot of training that happens for leaderships today. In fact, you'll find a lot of leadership management training programs being held in most of the B schools, and wherein they are taught how you're supposed to secure yourself, especially from lust, anger, greed. Greed is always there. It is omnipresent in most of the leaders today. They have greed for position. They have greed for money. They have greed for They want everything, one and all, they want everything. In fact, the leaders today also have this problem of know it all. I know everything because I'm the leader, and many a times they do not take up participation in such training programs, which is the very first mistake that they do. So they have a lot of pride, arrogance, and overexcitement. There are people who are very overexcited. Any idea lands up on their desk, they're very excited, super excited. Yeah, okay, we can do this. We are already world class corporate leaders. We can do this. But don't be so excited. First, at least go through that idea. Does it really make sense to your company? Does it really hold in alignment to your vision and mission? That is what we have to look at. Pride and arrogance, this is very commonly seen in leaders wherein they think that I don't need to go undergo any training, I don't need to undergo any workshops to contain them. So that's another thing that needs to be taken care of. Anger is to be managed. Anger is not bad. There are two things, students, when you talk about anger and aggression. Okay, so when you talk about anger, anger is something that is really misplaced and misconstrued. So what is a healthy anger or a healthy aggression? I would say it this way, that having aggression is a good thing. Okay, having anger is a bad thing. So aggression is a good way, and how do you channelize your aggression? That is a very important look at a leader. So there are leaders who are aggressive. In fact, Mukesh Ambani is a very aggressive leader, but he will not. It will not come across through his demeanor and his personality that he is a very aggressive leader. But when you talk about an aggressive leader, that's what it is all about. That when an idea comes on his desk, or when a project plan comes on his desk, how he must be dealing with that. Okay, so he wants to go ahead with his vision and mission. He's always going to be the one who will be always on a mission mode. So remember one thing, students, the leader is always the one who is going to be on the mission mode. Okay, king has to be energetic. That has always been said. In fact, one of the case studies also said this. So the leader has to be energetic at all times. So he has to be healthy and fit. Okay, the leader, her subjects will be equally energetic. So energy is something that channelizes through the leader. So it is something that when the leader enters the room, okay, maybe for a board meeting or something, the other people should feel the energy. Okay, so this is something that is very documented in Chanakya. So when the king enters the court, or maybe the leader enters a boardroom, so that time, that sense of, the respect should come of its own. So okay, he or she has arrived the boardroom. It feels the energy. You should channelize the energy. You should not adopt the energy which is present in the room. You should channelize the energy yourself. If he slacks, everyone will slack. Okay, the leader comes very grumpy and has not had a very good sleep or a very good meal, is very tardy, is not very professional in his attire or her attire. So definitely your team is not going to look at in a very good way. So that will be also a sloppy way of looking at things. Only to make money, they are sitting. So there will be a gradual decline when you're talking about such kind of management. Power corrupts greatest of minds. We have seen a number of examples in our case studies that there is a lot of corruption that happens to the mind, that you think that you are in a position of power, I can use and misuse the people, the character, the finance, the treasury, and it leads to overall destruction of the purpose. That is the vision and mission of the organization. So one should not fall into that category. You're talking about business, Chanakya has also given that there are 7 pillars, and the same thing that we see on the chessboard also, and it has synonymous terms in the modern management. So you have a king, as I was telling you, is the leader, minister is the manager, country is your market, fortified city is your infrastructure, treasury is your finance, very important and a crucial one for the leader, of course. Army, his team, yet again very important. Ally, or your mentor, or your collaborators. So you're going to collaborate if you are a startup company and you are the only one who has to lead this company, especially in the beginning. So you need ally, you need investors, you need mentors, you need collaborators to work towards your vision and mission. So who could these investors be? Your ally could be your friend. It could be so that you have an idea of a startup, you collaborate with someone who happens to be your friend. Now, how do you design that? How do you know he or she is actually your friend? So that's again a very different ball game altogether. Okay, so there are many cases that we see in our school also. We see in our day-to-day life activities wherein we have to choose our friend who can help us when we have to go ahead with our vision and mission. So if you have a startup company, if you're thinking of a startup company, you have to be really very sure that the one whom I'm really calling a friend, is he or she really going to be my friend? So that's a very important thing. Otherwise, maybe that ahead you will have some conflict which may cause a massive destruction to you and your position. So you have to be very sure, you have to take care of your chair, okay, as a leader, especially, even if you're a leader or a manager, even if you're a team, that is, especially an army or a team is basically the people who are your employees. Okay, so team would be looked upon as an employee. Okay, so I'm going to talk about in my next 2 weeks, I'll be also talking about how should an employee be, okay, and what kind of tests they have to undergo so that you can be considered as a very good employee, and what should a leader have in collaboration with the employee. So that's all we are going to, they are all connected. These things are not standalone points. Okay, the 7 pillars are not standalone. They are going to be connected in a very complicated manner. Let us try to strategize and look at how they are connected to each other. The problem that we see today in the corporate sector is the middle management, especially in India, as I was referring back. You know, it's a very big problem because the middle management is the one who is going to be a link between the leader and the team. And that's where the problem lies. Many a times the manager wants to reach the position of the leader. So what he or she will do will never take the problems that the team reports to the leader. This is what happens in the middle management, particularly in India. In most of the Indian corporate sector, based on the case studies that we have done, the employee satisfaction rate is very low. The reason primarily being that they are not heard. Okay, they are not listened upon, they are not allowed to share their ideas in the meetings. Even if they share, the employees, they share their ideas and things, they are looked down upon, they are never accepted. And letting you put it this way, that Chanakya actually said that whenever you're conducting or whenever you're making any decisions for your company, please ask your team, okay, that is your employees, because they are the ones who are working at the, they are the ones who are actually working for your organization. They are, if they stop working and there is a pen down strike, you won't be able to propel even for a single minute in your business. Okay, so it's very crucial and important for the employees to be working towards you. Today, many leaders, or rather so-called bosses, are playing with the psyche of the employees. They try to make them feel that your country, that is your market, is not very good. So we are not very good with the market, so we won't be able to pay you. So that's a very much a situation, especially that has happened in most of the corporate sector for a very long time. And not just that, in fact, it has also affected the overall situation post-COVID. So we are seeing that happening very commonly in today's organization. So we are going to talk about the leader, we are going to talk about the manager, we are going to talk about infrastructure, of obviously, because you have to give a very good infrastructure for your team to work very efficiently. And ally and mentors. So how do we choose our mentors, or do they choose us? How to collaborate, how to network within your organization and outside your organization. Okay, so that's what we are going to look at. These pillars have to be very strong, then only you will have a successful business. So let us look at qualities of a leader. So the synonymous terms would be director, the CEO, the MD. They are the ones, they are looked upon as the leadership positions. So the very first thing that we see, the quality of a leader, would be to be intelligent and dynamic. He should know everything. Okay, intelligence is the key. He should be intelligent and dynamic. Okay, that's a very, there may be many qualities that we look upon in a leader, but the very first, okay, the very first representative quality that we see in a leader has to be intelligent and dynamic. Walk the talk. Okay, rather than giving directions, provide a vision and directions. Now this is a typical situation that we see in our organization, right? Walk the talk. That's very rarely seen in today's times. So what does Chanakya say? He says that rather than giving directions to your employees, provide a direction. Okay, directions to your employee means do this, do that, you have to get this thing done, do it that way. So just giving orders, like just giving, like, do this, do that, I don't know how you're doing it, that should not be the case. Okay, very few leaders give you an idea and a direction to work towards that goal. So that's very important. Walk the talk. Stand to your point when you say it. Be a man of integrity or a woman of integrity. Being truthful in your words and actions. Your words are saying something and your actions are saying something else. That should never happen. Deceptive leaders are the ones who do that. They say something and they do something. And always, for such leaders, it is so said by Chanakya that always watch their actions. Words can be wrong. Okay, there are very many people who are very wordy. Okay, and their actions have exactly the reverse. Okay, that should never happen when you're talking about a leadership position. Be very clear and succinct and precise in what you're saying. Okay, and your communication has to be very clear and direct. Okay, don't beat around the bush. Okay, I'm taking your ideas. Okay, now do as I say. Usually that we see in today's corporate management, like what happens is the boss conducts a board meeting, and that's a typical boss, that's not a leader then. So what they do is they have a board meeting for the so-called sake of board meeting. They are given, you have a plan, you have a project, a very good project that is going to come up, a very ambitious project that your company is going for, and then your directions have been given. So boss will say, okay, you tell me your ideas. They will say, okay, these are my ideas, these are my things that I want to do, and this thing we can do so that my project goes ahead. Are you getting this? So in the board meeting, this may happen that the managers and the employees, the basic team will be there in the board meeting. Okay, not the entire employee section will be there in that meeting, but the chosen heads of that section will be definitely be there in the board meeting. So what we see in most of the case studies, that they are not listened upon. Okay, if the board meeting goes on for 2 hours or maybe 3 hours, then what happens is the bosses will take all the ideas, and then what they will say, no, we'll do it this way and this way. So what happens in those 3 hours is the complete trash of the ideas. Okay, that's not how the leader should work. Be very clear and succinct that this is what we are having, an ambitious project in our hand, and we want to go this way. Then you ask for ideas, then you make some way for the ideas to come in. May not be that the leader will entirely agree to it, but you have to look at the bigger objective of the organization. That's very important. There is one thing that is being said, that one has to be approachable to the ground employees, especially your sub staff, maybe even your cleaning staff, maybe even your people who are just acting as, maybe you have an office. Okay, so as I always say, the corporate organization also has, designated places for everyone to work. You'll find some people in the cubicle, you'll find some people working in the garden or the backyard or the office where your location is. So basically Chanakya had ideas for everything. Okay, so when you're talking about, so it's just like a game of chess, guys. So it's looked upon like how you're sitting in an organization. That's also in a way looks like the place, the game of that board game, that is Shatranj, wherein every piece has a place. Similarly, you find it in an organization today. Like there will be a garden, a courtyard. That's what we look about in a kingdom. So you'll have ground employees, even maybe the gardener working in that office. There may be peons, the sub staff, the cleaning staff. So from that level to your employees. Okay, so you have to be approachable to these ground employees also. Approachable doesn't mean that you come out of the car and hug that, give a very typical filmy hug and look at that person. Okay, that's not what we are looking at. If suppose that person is coming with a problem to your office, he should be able to come to your office. So you'll have a secretary who will be sitting outside the office, your main office where you are sitting inside, and you are the one who's going to have the biggest cabin in the organization, obviously because of the position that you are holding. All right, so you'll have a secretary, you'll have the one who will be answering to your appointments, to your calls. So it becomes kind of difficult for the ground employee to reach you. But obviously, you'll have to keep this professional barrier between you and the employee. So there has to be a secretarial position between you and your employees, so that you can direct your employees to come in a professional manner. So what role should you give to your secretary, to your people who are going to decide who is going to meet you, how your appointments are going to be on a day-to-day basis, because your time is very important. Okay, why is it done? You may say that, ma'am, why should we have a secretary? Why should a leader have a secretary? I should directly have an open door policy, right? You cannot do that in today's present scenario. Earlier times, during Chanakya's time, it was so suggested that it should be an open door policy. But we have seen in times that it is a very, very crucial and a very, you can say that it is taken for a toss. So you have to handle these things in a very professional manner. You should have a secretary, and the secretary is the one who is going to keep all the records of your appointments of the day, because the leader has to manage time. That's very important. So what is your priority? Okay, on a day-to-day basis, you will have some priorities at hand. So keep some time also for listening out to your employees. Maybe not in the week, so you'll have to plan in the 24 hours that you have, which are, or maybe in a week's time. Okay, you're not going to work in a 40-hour slot. The leaders don't work in the 40-hour shift. They're not going to work in shifts. They are going to work for long hours. Maybe on some days they will be working on a very short hours. There may be some days you will be working on very long hours. So your time management has to be very crucial when you're talking about a leader. Okay, so make some time for the ground employees also in that category. Don't just be so money minded and business minded there. Okay, desirous to training. This I told you that don't let ego, arrogance, pride come your way, no matter what people say. Okay, there may be people around you who will always be praiseworthy of you. Oh, you're doing great, your company is going really well. Okay, don't take these, always take these words with a pinch of salt. All right, desirous to training, you always try to train yourself, whether you're at the age of 50, whether you're at the age of 60. Okay, so that's what is spoken about a leader. Okay, should know it all stunts your thinking. Don't be at any point of time, don't be under the idea that you know it all. There is always room for learning. Keep that in mind. Okay, so desirous to training, you should look at that. So fundamental leadership talks about economics, legal practices, professional ethics also, that I'm not chalked out here, but you have to have professional ethics. Foreign policies should be very clear to you. You should know about the foreign policies when you are especially collaborating. So when you talk about foreign policies, if I want to collaborate with, say, Japan, one that has the best hospitality, if you have a hospitality industry, I think Japan leads in hospitality. So when you talk about that, so what is the foreign policy of Japan? Okay, so it's something that, like, when you want to collaborate with such, maybe some company in Japan, so you should know the foreign policies. Competitive in terms of world-class scenario, be competitive. Okay, you cannot slack. Your ideas have to be very competitive. You should be aggressive also. Okay, so I know that many people don't assume aggression as a very good behavior, but that's not a good behavior in your personal life. And we are not talking about personal life, we're talking about a professional scenario where aggression should not harm the person. Okay, if you're aggressive, it should not harm the person. It should be beneficial to your team. Okay, I'll give you an example why I'm using the phrase of aggression in a very typical manner, because many people have this connotation of aggression as a very bad quality in a leader. Being angry is bad. True, that's absolutely seen. Now I'll tell you something about aggression now that we see. Let us take an example of a cricket team where the captain is Virat Kohli, and Virat Kohli is always seen as a very aggressive captain. Okay, his strategies are always seen as he's a very aggressive on field. But if you look at sports, and let me put it this way, why I have given the example of sports is a leader should be very good in sports also. Because in many ways he has to be very physically fit and active. The coming back to the example of Virat Kohli and being aggressive on field, many people do assume that, but in fact, having that aggression really builds up many a times the atmosphere of the game. The passion for the game is very visible for Virat Kohli when you see him play on the field. We are not talking about his present situation or maybe the present zeros that he's making, but definitely we know that he's aggressive on field, and that really drives the team, and it also shows the passion that he has for the game that he plays. So that is a very positive attribute. Okay, so aggression always, see, when when is aggression a negative pursuit? I'll tell you that if the aggression seen in a leader is driving the company ahead, okay, it is propelling the company ahead, why not to have it, right? But if that aggression is not leading the company anywhere, then there is something wrong with that aggression. So having a positive aggressive, look at, channelize your thought, your strong mind in a very logical manner, channelize that energy very clearly. Okay, so having anger is a different thing, having healthy anger is a different thing, aggression is a different thing. Okay, I'll take an example from excerpt from my point also. I remember working for around 7 to 8 months when I was leading a team of 30 people, and these 30 people in the team were all scientists. Okay, so when you are leading a team of 30 people, okay, you are in the supervisory level. I'm having a very aggressive tone when I work with my people. Okay, I want those 30 people to be working exactly the way I want to. But there are times that those 30 people may not, all of them will not agree with my ideas or with my aggression. There may be some people who may not like my behavior of aggression. So that's a way of looking at things. So either that person has to work the way I'm saying it, or maybe they have to perform even better. Then I can assume that that person can take care of his or her own. Are you getting this? So that's a very important thing. So when you're looking at aggression, don't think of, you're not angry. You should not sound angry, right? You should, yes, you're aggressive means you're getting up every day with some passion in your mind. Okay, if you have passion, definitely aggression is going to be there. Okay, if you're not, you don't like the job that you're doing, you'll never have this passion. You'll never have any aggression also. Okay, so that's how we look at it. So fundamental leadership also looks at the passion for that job or that organization. There are two thinking models. If you remember, I was talking about Chanakya, talking about two thinking models, one being the leadership thinking and the other being the administrative thinking. So you have two types of model. That is your leadership model, which Chanakya said it is the Rajarishi or the philosopher king, which we see in Tata. I want my students to please note down these models. This will help you when you go ahead. Okay, so leadership model, that's your Rajarishi. And there is an administrative model. This model is related to all the ministers, the managers, supervisory staff, your admin, HR, your your PR, okay, your public relations office in your organization, everyone over there. You have to cast out the group of internal enemies. Okay, that's very important. You should not have any internal enemies in the organization. There should be no one who should be disloyal to you. Okay, he or she should acquire control over the senses, cultivate an intellect with elders. This is what Chanakya was saying. You have an ally who is an elder. In your organization, you should have people from various dynamics. Okay, so they should be of they may be of different age groups. Okay, they may be either in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. So it is obviously seen that the intellect lies with the people who have been for a very long time in your organization. So they are the ones who will be considered as elderly, as per what Chanakya says. You have to keep some kind of, an open door for them, so that their ideas are inculcated whenever you make some decision making, because they are the ones who have seen the organization for a very long time. Please consider their ideas. Keep a watchful eye by means of spies. Chanakya was one very shrewd leader. He was the one to say that you have to have spies in your company. Today that role is taken up by CCTVs, but he was the one to talk about spies, जो गुप्तचर होते हैं. That concept Chanakya is known for, infamously known for. Bring out security and well-being by energetic activity. Your company should be very secure. Okay, in terms of outward security, you should have very good security around your organization. Well-being in a very energetic activity. So leaders should partake in all sports activity also, is what Chanakya used to always say, because according to him, the leader is the one who has to be physically and mentally fit. Maintain observances of the special duties. There are some special duties that you'll be carrying out on a day-to-day basis. You should be very sure of maintaining observances over there. Okay. Associate with wise and passionate people. That's very important. Okay. Say for example, you are in a class. Let us say yours is entirely a company only. Okay. Let us say MBA Tech IT is one whole organization. So you have to associate with wise and passionate people. Okay. Not the ones who sound very lazy or look very lazy, come very not very well dressed. Even dressing has a lot of importance by Chanakya. So are you really dressing up for your job or dressing up for your position, is what they look at. In fact, these are very small points, but these are really very much relevant points in Arthashastra of Chanakya. Acquire discipline. Be very disciplined, self-disciplined. You should not have any bad habits like smoking and drinking, which very commonly happens when you have an when you have a power. You are going to have parties, you're going to have corporate meetings abroad. So it's very easy for one to gain these habits. So according to Chanakya, he always said that the one who is a leader should not have these habits. Uh, Acquiring discipline, self-discipline, and this happens in the instruction in the sciences. If he knows that cigarette is going to harm me, okay, that's a basic science there. So he or she should not delve into it. Okay, if you are prone to smoking and drinking, that's definitely going to affect your thinking in a bigger way. Attain popularity. This is one thing that is very famous. There are many leaders that we see who associate with celebrities, who associate with media persons, and they try to gain popularity. There's no harm there. As for the corporate management, there is no harm in gaining and attaining popularity, because you're going to collaborate with celebrities, you're going to collaborate with film stars at point of time. You may associate with sports activities, so you may be having some, maybe you are a leader who is making collaboration on a golf course. You will be having ministerial people, maybe from other countries, maybe from very strong nations. So definitely you have to attain popularity. You should not be only known in India. Let us say your company is only in India. You should be known even in Europe or maybe in Germany. Okay, so that's attaining popularity. And there is no harm in material advantage. This is what Chanakya stands apart compared to any rishi, muni at that time. He was materialistic. He said there is no harm in being materialistic. Okay, but you should do it in moderation. You should not only be materialistic. Okay, so he said that you should associate, you should have materials with you. Dhan, daulat, shohrat is what he was talking about. Okay, maintain power. You should maintain your chair. That's very important. Maintaining power is, gaining power is one thing, maintaining the chair is the other thing. And that's where Chanakya gives all these ideas. Everyone will try to come at your position, and that's an envious position. Leader is the one at the most envious position. So maintaining power and by doing what is beneficial for the organization, that's very, very crucial, right? So not just gaining power, maintaining power is a bigger problem. Okay, so that's what we look at. These are all given in the Chanakya's Anvikshiki. And Anvikshiki is the one which talks about the leadership model and the administrative model. Okay, so coming to thinking. So there is one phrase given in Chanakya's Arthashastra which has been translated. It's in chapter 2. So that talks about the time for catching elephants is summer. That's what was the Sanskrit terminology. So I've just translated that. So what does Chanakya say? The time for catching elephants is summer. What does that imply? Okay, it's something like time factor of your market is very important. When you're working for your organization, you should be sure of at what time you're releasing your product. Okay, so say for example, like a movie, when you're making a movie, that's a business, right? So if a Yash Raj movie comes out, if it comes out in the summer vacation, you'll get a better opening. Okay, I'm talking about pre-COVID times, obviously. So if a movie has to be released, it's the best time would be the summertime, the summer break, when the school vacations are going on. The best time for having a business in a shopping mall would be the time when you are having a weekend. You'll have the maximum market that time. You'll have maximum business from a shopping mall. Okay, at that time. So that is what he said. Chanakya gives a lot of importance to time management. So at what time you are supposed to release a product, or like now in today's COVID times, when was the vaccine going to come out was a very crucial time. Any time was suitable for it, right? So that's something that we are looking at when you talk about time management. Okay, both side thinking. Now let us look at some thinking models that many people possess. You can have both side thinking, like this way or that way. Okay, right or wrong. Alternative thinking, ये नहीं हुआ तो वो कर सकते हैं क्या? Alternative. So you have one problem with many solutions, okay, or you have one solution for many problems. That's alternative thinking. Leadership thinking comprises of many of them. Creative thinking, are you being creative? There are many people who can make doodles and think, like creative thinking. When you're painting, when you're making some music, when you're playing a guitar, are you creative thinker back then? There are many case studies where we found that the people who read a lot, they find ideas maybe in that time. When they make a music, when they play the piano or the guitar, they get some ideas. So that's another thing. Maybe when you get an idea under a shower, so that's creative thinking. Lateral thinking is you are finding a simpler way for solving a problem. So that's your lateral thinking. Critical thinking is a network. It's like a web-based organization, a web-based algorithm, actually, critical thinking. Spiritual thinking, not something that is apart from materialistic. In fact, Chanakya has made one thing very clear, that a person who is having a spiritual thinking should not devoid himself or herself from any kind of, material advantage. Okay, or maybe we are looking at spiritual means a brahmacharya, nothing like that. He or she said there is importance of having a sex life. That's what Chanakya has given in his book. So he was saying that yes, a leader should have a very healthy sex life. The same thing goes for the leader. Secondly, he also said that spiritual thinking doesn't take away the fact that he or she should not have materialistic thinking. It should be materialistic, but on a moral ground. Are you getting this? You should be on a moral ground. So that's a very important thing that is being spoken about in spiritual thinking in Chanakya Niti. So please, students, don't misrepresent spiritual thinking. Okay, he was saying that you can be spiritual even when you possess the worldly desires. You can be desirous, you can be passionate, but at the same time you can be spiritual. You can meditate, you can perform yoga, so that you are on a moral ground. So do everything on a moral. Your character has to be very high when you're talking about acting as a leader. Okay, the leader should not be someone like Vijay Mallya. Okay, so something that we are not looking at. The real model is what we are looking in today's time was successful leaders. Okay, thinking a little further. Okay, you should not have a personal agenda. Okay, a personal agenda means how it can help my family if I have any, right? So you should not have any personal agenda with you. You should always look at the vision and mission of your company. That's very important, right? Leaders work for the benefit of others. That very few people understand. Easier said than done. That's what I mean to say. That's very important. Thinking out of the box. Now, you must have heard this phrase many a times. Okay, thinking out of the box. But does that box really exist? Okay, so I remember discussing in a panel discussion once that should the leaders think out of the box. Now, I was actually wondering even if that box really exists. Okay, so if you the box exists for the ministers, the managers, the employees. Maybe for the leader it doesn't exist at all. Okay, so does that box exist should be the question rather than thinking out of the box. That's very important. Your box, now you'll have to decide the four walls of your box when you're talking about thinking out of the box. You can have one thing that is your character, your morale, your habits, and your internal senses. So these are the four walls that can be created, which are very broader walls. Okay, and in that you should have your thinking idea. So if you talk about thinking out of the box, it's not based on problem statement, but based on these four morals, and then you can expand your thinking in any shape possible, in any way possible, but keeping your grounds rooted and with utmost humility and utmost humble behavior. That's how the thinking should be. Okay, all inclusive thinking. Now this is what Chanakya was talking about. Inclusive thinking means encompassing living and non-living both. So it should not harm in any kind of decision I make. Say for example, my company is making, say, a drug or a molecule, drug molecule. Okay, so being a chemist, I'll give an example of a drug molecule only. So if you talk about that, does that drug molecule, when I'm manufacturing in my industrial or a factory, so is it going to have any adverse impact on the environment? Is it going to have adverse impact to the people who are working with it? So all inclusive thinking. You have to take care of the product that you're going to design. Responsible for anything and everything that is a part of his and her kingdom. This is the point that Chanakya has given very clearly. Responsible for anything that everything that happens in the kingdom, which means if something goes right, it is the responsibility of the leader. If something goes wrong, it's the responsibility of the leader. So can you imagine that the shouldering of responsibilities are manifold for a leader? I'll give you an example. This example comes from ISRO. Okay, again, ISRO is one organization. Okay, it's a government run organization, ISRO. And when this example was shared by Abdul Kalam, if you have ever watched his interviews and you have ever seen him as a person, he was a great leader. Okay, back then he was a successful president, par excellent scientist, a person who was working with tremendous integrity. Why was that so? Why was Abdul Kalam so good in his endeavors? Why was he always successful? Whether it was a Pokhran site when he worked with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, whether you're talking about a very proficient leader, scientist, he led a team of scientists in ISRO. Why was he like that? He had shared his example when he was asked this question, that what makes you different from what makes your thinking. His thinking model was very very critical. Huh? His thinking model was a critical thinking model. Okay, now I'll give you an example which he had shared in one of his interviews. He said my boss was like that. He didn't say his boss. He said he was his superior, and it was Dr. Satish Dhawan who was working in ISRO as a chairperson. He was the chairman ISRO when Abdul Kalam was working under Satish Dhawan. So there was this project which was to launch a satellite, maybe something that he was talking about, which failed very miserably. Okay, so what happened in ISRO? We all know what happens when the satellite is launched. Every eye is on that satellite launching. Satish Dhawan was the chairman back then, and Abdul Kalam was the one who had to do that job, and it failed at the last minute, absolutely at the last millisecond. It's a very heartbreaking thing when that happens, when you have a leading scientist working in that place. So that is what was shared by Abdul Kalam. What he said was, when the entire press was waiting for it to happen and it didn't happen, so who is going to own the responsibility? Is it going to be Abdul Kalam, who worked with all these scientists for all the time, or is it going to be Satish Dhawan, who was just a chairperson in ISRO? You won't believe, he shared this during that time, the press conference, and Abdul Kalam was not in a position to come in front of the press. He was absolutely dejected. In fact, he said that I was in tears when this thing didn't happen. What face will he show to the people, to the press? The entire press is waiting to talk. And when he observed, Satish Dhawan was the chairperson who called up, and that's what Abdul Kalam said. He said, "No, you come with me. We will face the press." Okay, he was the one, now we can see, as a leadership position taking over. He said, "Let's come, let us come out." He came out. He said, it's my mistake. We own the responsibility. ISRO owns the responsibility. It's a very big thing, students. Let me put it this way, we don't find such bosses anymore. Unfortunately, we don't find any leader, any boss today who owns up the responsibility. Very rare situation comes where they take up the responsibility. It is always, now what is happening, this is something that Abdul Kalam spoke about, owning up if something goes wrong. So what did the press say? ISRO failed in the test. He was saying fine. And then what he said, then that's what Abdul Kalam shared, that Satish Dhawan, who being the chairperson back then, what did he say was, it's okay, this failed, no, we are not failing for the future, we'll do it again. And they actually did it very well. And at that point of time, Abdul Kalam said that, I still remember him patting on his back, and when that thing happened, when the mission succeeded, what did he say? It is their effort. Okay, it is the team who brought it to victory. Okay, so this is how a leader should be. When the credit comes, everybody is ready to grasp it. He was not like that. Credit, he gave it to everyone. But when the problem came, he said, it is my responsibility. Something happened with me. Something may be wrong with ISRO, that we couldn't launch the satellite. He made changes immediately before they went for the another launch of the satellite. Okay, so these are certain things that we do. Unfortunately, we don't see this anytime in the organization today. In fact, we see the other way around. Okay, if the credit comes, I am taking it. If anything goes wrong, you are put under the bus. Okay, the employees, the ministers, the managers, terminate them, remove them, put them under the bus. Okay, so this is what happens in today's times. Strategic and critical thinking goes together. Okay, this is very important for effective governance and good administration. So your critical thinking and strategic planning should be very thorough. Okay, and this has connect with the second last point of responsibility. Okay, so this is how we look at leadership thinking. Okay, so we can give an example of Abdul Kalam and Satish Dhawan, okay, which he has given in many of his interviews back then. Finally, this is my final slide. What should be the qualities of a minister or a manager or a chairperson? The one who is second in command, the one who is going to be a filter between the team, the employees, and the leader. Okay, undertaking projects, you should be very good in collaborating and getting multiple projects for your company. Fostering collaborations, you are the one who is going to be assigned this task by the leader. Foster collaborations. Get to know you already know the foreign policy as a leader. You have to delegate this task to your minister, okay, to forward the vision of the company. You will have to delegate at this point in time, okay. Your delegation to the minister should be such that you should choose ministers in that manner, okay. Choosing a manager, hiring a chairperson of that time, he or she is the one who's going to steer the company, okay. The steering wheel is with that manager or the second in command. Proactive, okay, in problem solving. You should not bring problems to the leader, you should rather solve it, okay. Pragmatic in approach. Pragmatic means being practical in approach. You should not make very farcical ideas and come up with some stupid solutions on the desk, okay. Bring work on the desk and bring solutions on the desk. ये problem हो रहा है organization में sir, ये problem हो रहा है, ये नहीं होना चाहिए. You come up with, sir, this is the problem, okay, and this is my solution I suggest. Could I go ahead with that? Take the permission of your leader and then go ahead with that. Don't make your own standalone decisions. Always keep your leader in loop when you're making any decision in command. Best gender neutral while hiring process. Managers are the one who are going to hire the team or the employees. Very commonly, they are the ones who are going to sit in the interview panel. Okay. Unbiased, very difficult as it seems, because human beings are so created that they are going to be partial in some way or the other. The minute they make a comment, they have given away their idea, their stand. Okay, so you have to be very sure that you choose your words very wisely as a manager, general manager, second in command, chairperson. You have to choose your words. Don't speak anything. Okay, be very precise in your statement, because once you make that statement, okay, you have made a stand clear. Okay, so either you speak less, you will find this thing in managers. Okay, they should speak very less. In fact, unbiased, obviously, and gender neutral while hiring process. Coherent in speech and action. That is what I was to say. It should be in alignment. So if you say something today and next day you flounder, the employees are going to see that, right? Coherent in speech and action is very important. Clear in setting the tone of his and her needs. You should be very clear what is the need of the company, what is the vision and mission of your company and organization, and make it very clear to your superiors and also to your team that this is what you're going to do. You're going to be, in fact, when you're talking about a manager in any company or general manager in any company, you're the one who is going to set a tone. It has to be very clear and very, you should not be very biased. This is where the problem actually lies today. The managers are the ones who are never going to tell any problem to the superiors. Something goes wrong with the team, the entire responsibility of the wrongdoing happens on the people who are working in your office or your organization. So these points have been given very clearly in Chanakya Niti, and that looks about fostering collaborations very clearly. So how you're supposed to do that, either you're going to wage a war, either you're going to make some changes in your team, something like that. So first 2 points becomes very important. In Chanakya Niti, the kingdom used to foster collaborations by waging a war. Nowadays, we don't do that, obviously, but definitely we have ways of fostering collaborations. So if you have a very good network in the sector that you're working in, maybe it could be any sector. It could be a solar sector that you're working on. It could be a wind sector that it could be any organization. Primarily, what is the vision and mission is something that we are looking at. Okay, and try to forward the vision of your company. That's very, not your personal agenda, but your vision and your company. So students, just to end, and before I start with the second half of my session, one thing I want to make very clear, that in the upcoming lectures, okay, I'll be talking about how to deal with conflict, how to deal with enemies in your organization, if there are any, outside your organization. I'll be taking some examples from these topics, which is a case study based thing, and talking about employee also. So we are going to look at all the three strata. Leadership is something that I've already spoken to you. Again, I'm going to continue this. I'm going to constantly speak about leadership organization. But definitely at the end, I want to also talk about employees and how do they feel in a corporate sector. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing my screen. So students, now I'll be sharing my link. So we'll go for the next half of our session. So based on, so we were basically talking about corporate Chanakya, right? So in this case, the question, the quiz is being kept for 10 points. Okay, you have to write your credentials, whatever they are. I'll be sharing my MS forms here. Okay, so students can quickly navigate to the chat box. Okay, in 2 or 3 minutes, I'll be sharing the link, and take your time and fill that up. Point of note here is there has to be no copy paste material either from the internet or anything. Okay, you're going to lose grades if that happens. You write it in your own words is what I look at. Correct? It should not be that what Nathan has written, Lena has also written, something like that. It should not happen in within the class also, and it should not be from the internet. Clear? I have changed your credentials, so let us go ahead with our next session.